Okay. Okay. We're on now. Now we're on. We are on the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. And I have with me Dr. David Yates. Did I say that last name right, David?
You sure did,
Dr.
Mark.
David Yates. You sure did, Mark. Thank you, my friend. Um, uh, for those of you who are joining and those of you who planning on joining, we was just talking prior to starting the show, and my brother here, he mentioned something that it struck my heart. And and not to put you on the spot, David, and I'm really not. I'm not, but it just hit my spirit when you said that because it's like, wow, you're such a good dude. We talked once or twice, and I just got nothing but good vibes from you. And so
Same here, man. Same here. I feel the same from you, brother.
yeah, man, yeah, yeah. You know, so you mentioned that. Well, before I go into the little detail that we were talking about, uh, tell us who you are, where you from, and what do you do?
So I grew up in Los Angeles. I have 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in Spanish with a minor in business from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. Then I went on to
Yep,
get a doctorate in chiropractic from Cleveland Chiropractic College in Los Angeles. And I
yep.
finished that in 2007. I specialized in the upper neck, a technique called Blair upper cervical. And I found that it was the most influential technique in our profession in the sense that for chronic illness and I became a chiropractor because I didn't want to do like muscle work and stuff like that. I wanted to help people with the most chronic of illnesses, the stuff that modern medicine had no answer for, stuff like Parkinson's, uh,
Mhm.
fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, neurodegenerative type of conditions. And from my studies and from what I learned about the body and the physiology that we're dealing with, the complexity of our human body, that you have to focus in on the brainstem. The brainstem is the key organ in the body. It controls and regulates all processes in the body, all healing,
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
function. Your cardiovascular centers, your respiratory centers, your digestive centers, and therefore your immune system, not to mention all involuntary muscle contraction is controlled in that little organ that is protected by the top 2 bones in your neck. And those just happen to be the top 2 bones or the 2 vertebra that misalign most frequently and cause most health issues chronic health issues that we're dealing with in society. And so I practiced from 2007 to 2017, so 10 years in 4 different states. In 2017, I had a wife and 5 kids, and I was not making enough money really to support them doing chiropractic. And so I had a tough decision to make, Mark, and I
Mhm.
decided to leave the profession and focus on providing for my family. Um,
Okay.
but I ended up getting divorced a year later, and my journey has been
Oh,
quite unique since then. You mentioned Costa Rica. I moved to Costa Rica in April of 2021 with the hopes of starting a practice down there in another country. And that was a life-changing experience, just like the life-changing experience I had in Costa Rica when I was 19, back in 1988 to 1990. I served a voluntary mission for my church there. So I was on a religious
right.
mission way back
Mhm.
in my early years. Um, and that set the foundation for my life, Mark. I decided after when I was 21, I decided I wanted to live a life of service, that I wanted to serve and help my fellow man in the
Mhm.
best way I could. And that led me to becoming a doctor. And it also led me to moving back to Costa Rica, trying to help the good people down there. And I ran into 2 obstacles. The 2 obstacles were that I was an illegal alien. I was trying to get residency down there, and because of the pandemic, we were smack dab in
Yeah.
the middle of a pandemic in 2021. That it was more difficult than I thought it was going to be prior to moving down there to get residency. And then number two, the big problem that most small business owners and entrepreneurs deal with is I didn't have the capital to do what I wanted to do in business. And if there's anything your listeners are going to learn from what I'm telling, what my story is, that you need
Yeah.
money to make money if you're going to be in business
Yeah.
for yourself. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to go after your dreams like I have in my life. But you know, we live in a tricky world today when it comes to money. You know, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And there's a huge division. And so it's hard to gap that division. You know, I grew up very middle class. My father was a plumber for LA County his entire life. My mother was a stay-home mom that raised me and my four sisters. And I had a
Mhm.
great childhood, and my parents raised me well. They raised me with good morals. They raised me to fear God and to
Mhm.
trust in the Lord. And that's what I've
Mhm.
done. But I've gone after my dreams. I didn't want to settle in mediocrity. I was the first
Mhm.
college graduate in my family. I'm the only doctor in my family. I was the first to serve a mission for our church in my family.
Man.
And I have,
Yeah.
you know, cousins and stuff like that, that are also members of the church. I have a pretty big family. Um, but yeah, my story is that, you know, it didn't work out in Costa Rica because I didn't have residency and I couldn't get it, and I didn't have capital. So I moved back here to Seattle in September of last year. I joined a practice here in Seattle, and 3 months into my contract, I was wrongfully terminated. And at that point, I decided that, you know, working with five different chiropractors over I guess, I mean, it's 2017. So 15-year, you know, period, five different chiropractors. I decided to like leave the profession, and I was introduced to phototherapy early January of this year. And I've been blown away by the technology, and I'm constantly studying it, learning about it, and sharing it with as many people that will listen to me. And that was really the reason why I reached out to you, Mark, to be on the podcast. But you know, we don't have to talk about phototherapy if you don't want to. We can talk about the
Sure.
fact that
Sure.
I'm
You go ahead.
homeless right now.
We could talk about both because I mean I mean we could talk about LifeWave because I thought that was pretty cool technology that you were involved in. But when you spoke about your homeless situation, uh that kind of it took me aback because it's like, whoa, it's like here you are, you're a seemingly accomplished individual, David. You
I know.
know, you're well educated. You're young still. I mean, hell, you're just a few months older than me.
Yeah, there
I'll be
you go,
55 in
man.
August, man. So,
I could
you know
I
what I'm saying?
consider
So it's like,
myself young.
yeah, I'm trying to. My back is telling me something different though, because my back is jacked up. But
Well, you're talking
but
to the right
but brother
person for
David,
that.
yeah, yeah, I know, I know. If I was in Seattle, I'll come look you up, man. I'm telling you the truth.
Hey,
But
I could refer you a good chiropractor. I have a network of excellent upper cervical chiropractors throughout the United States and the world for that matter. So if you want a referral, I can give you one. But I'm real like I said, I'm really
I'm,
fascinated with this phototherapy because it activates your stem cells, and stem cells are, I mean, they can replicate any cell in the body. So we're talking cellular healing at a level that most people will never experience because it's too expensive. I mean, stem cell injections can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. You know,
what?
most people can't afford that. Insurance doesn't pay for it. But
I
you
bet.
know, this company, pardon?
I said, I bet.
Yeah. And so this company that I found, they've manufactured a patch this size. Basically, you remember those round patches that you used to find in that assorted box of Band-Aids, the
Yeah,
round ones? Okay.
the round
So
ones. Yeah.
yeah, that's the size of this patch that you put on your body. And the way it works, first of all, for your listeners that aren't familiar with phototherapy like I wasn't, it's the treatment of disease using light. Okay. But in this
Mm,
case, it's not like a light that you shine on your body. It's not like the sun that when it shines on your skin, it produces vitamin D, one of the most important vitamins on the planet, and in my opinion, the most important vitamin. It's
mm,
not like that. It's a technology that is patented, that is unique, that no other company in the world offers. And so what happens is when you put this patch on your body, and one thing we should all know is that our bodies emit infrared light constantly. Okay. This is proven scientifically. If you were to look under an infrared light at the body, you can see the light, the infrared light that's
mm,
emitted from the body constantly. What this patch does is it redirects that infrared light that our bodies emit constantly back into the skin and nervous system. And then the body activates or elevates a copper peptide called GHK, okay, which has been clinically proven to activate stem cells. Now, the importance about this in regards to stem cell injections, number one, I mentioned stem cell injections are very expensive, but they're also, it doesn't always work. There's only about a 30% chance that it's going to work. And what's happening when they inject stem cells
give me
in,
okay, what stem cell injection? Okay. It's a
yeah,
30% chance that it will not work for the stem cell injections.
with stem cell injections, but also it's dangerous because what you're doing is you're injecting embryonic stem cells from somebody else, not your own stem cells. But we all have stem cells in our body, and they're in Spanish, they're las células madres, which means the mother cell, which means it's the original cells of the body that can take on any cell type in the body. And um, so when you activate them from within your body, as opposed to injecting them, not only is it safer, but it's more effective. And
Mm,
I've experienced this patch. I've been wearing this patch, this stem cell activation patch on my body the last 3 months. And I'm amazed
hmm
with my increased energy, my increased mental clarity, my increased
mm,
metabolism. Wrinkles on my face are going away. And I was optimally healthy, Mark, before I put this patch on my body because I've been under upper cervical specific chiropractic care for the last 20 years. And it has done the job for me. Like it has kept my body out of pain and functioning optimally. But this patch took me to a whole nother level. And I never thought that what I offered as a doctor for 20 years could be replicated in a product, the service that I offered. And that service was simply assess the upper neck, make a very gentle, specific correction to the top two bones in the neck, and then remove the pressure off the brainstem and let the body heal itself. And that's what I did for 17 years, from 2007, basically until last year. So I'm sharing this technology with the world. I'm educating them, and hopefully, I'm hoping that more people will start using it. And by the way, you can get your hands on these phototherapy patches at my website, which is godhealthandrelationships.com. That's where my online
what's it
store
called
is.
again?
It's called
What's it called
Health,
again? God.
God Health and Relationships.com, or you can just go to drdavidyates.com as well. There's two different ways to get to my online store where you can purchase these phototherapy patches and have them delivered right to your door.
Okay. I'm just typing this down so I can share it. Godhealthandrelationships.com.
Right. Or
Okay.
DrDavidYates.com. So Dr. David Yates, YATES.com. Either one of those
Okay.
websites or either one of those links will take you directly to my online store. And my email is very simple. If you have any questions, any of your listeners, I mean, I could leave my cell phone number. I could leave, I'm just sharing this with everybody. But my email address is Dr. Dave at godhealthandrelationships.com. Or it's Dr. David Yates at proton.me. I could share my, cell phone number. I just love talking to people about this because what it does is it gives people hope. A lot of people don't have a lot of hope right now when it comes to their health, and they don't realize that there's this other modality out there besides exercise and diet and
Mhm.
medications and surgery and all these things that we already know about. This is unique. This is
It
something that
is.
is completely unique and is widely unknown and costs. I mean, one patch costs $3.33. I mean, it's anybody can afford this technology, uh, and I'm blown away with it. I just am.
Why is it so cheap?
Well, because it's organic material. I mean, if you look at the patch, first of all, it's very small, and it's made up of just like different sugars and amino acids. See, the inventor of this patch, David Schmidt. I mean, this is the 10th patch that he's invented. LifeWave has been around since 2004. We're in over 60 countries. We have over 80 patents in those 60 countries, and it's all organic and it's very small. So it doesn't cost a lot to manufacture, and it works synergistically with your body. It's not like a synthetic material that has to be manufactured. It's natural organic material in a patch. That's why it's so cheap. And I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's a gift from God that he led me to this company, and I'm so happy to be aligned with them.
Yep. That's what I was going to ask. What led you to getting involved with LifeWave?
So I was literally unemployed at the beginning of 2024. What am I going to do? Because basically 2023 ended with me being forced into retirement as a chiropractor. I mean, I was happy doing my passion, which is, you know, upper cervical chiropractic, but I was fired. And it just didn't work out. And so I'm like, okay, well, we've got to reassess, go back to the drawing board. I still have a passion for helping people ever since I went on my mission to Costa Rica way back in 1988. I still have a passion for serving people and helping them in ways that are unique and that other people aren't helping them. And so literally, this guy reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he introduced me to it, like, and he's now my new business partner and best friend, and I've only known him since mid-January. I mean, I've had a lot of businesses in my life, Mark. I mean, like I said, I've practiced with or for 5 different chiropractors since 2007. I've had 3 different real estate companies. I've done sales and marketing for different companies. I've done a lot of things. And
Absolutely.
I've actually known different companies like LifeWave. LifeWave is a network marketing company. Prior to being introduced to them, I had been with 3 other network marketing companies that, like, one was World Financial Group, which when they started with was World Marketing Alliance. That was way back in 1996. Now they're World Financial Group. The other one that a lot of people will know is Prepaid Legal. I was with them for a while.
Yeah.
Then I was with a
Yeah.
nutraceutical company in 2020 called Kiani. Fantastic nutraceuticals, but timing is everything in life, Mark. And you know, all these things that I've done is just a testament to how many business partners and business relationships I've had throughout my life. But this guy takes the cake. I mean, I have never met anybody who was so willing and wanting to, help me be successful in business. And I've only known this guy since mid-January. And he's heaven sent. I mean, he's just a one of the greatest blessings that's ever happened in my life. And I've been truly blessed in my life with many things. But yeah, he just reached out to me on LinkedIn, and because I'm open-minded and I'm a people person and I like to meet and talk to new people, I accepted his, friend request or whatever, connect request on LinkedIn. We
Yeah.
started talking, and the rest is history. Now I'm an independent distributor in the company. We're building teams of people that want to take this technology to the world and take their health to another level, because it has definitely taken my health to a level that I was not expecting, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So why should people buy purchase products from LifeWave?
Well, the cost, you won't find the same type of effect for cheaper. And we've been around for 20 years. I mean, we're a reputable company. We're not a startup. We have integrity. We treat people the way we want to be treated. Um,
Hmm.
and I, I mean, and I'm your liaison. I'm what I'm offering is free consultations. That's what I've been doing on social media. Is I've been offering a free 30-minute consultation where somebody can just schedule a Calendly with me, and I'll basically, as a doctor, I'll give them a free consultation and guide them as to what patch they should use, because, like I said, we have 10 different patches. I mean, not just for stem cell activation, we have a patch that elevates melatonin in the body naturally and helps you sleep. We have a patch that reduces inflammation in the body. We have a patch that elevates glutathione, which is the master antioxidant in the body. We have a patch that reduces stress. We have a patch that suppresses your satiety. So, it's for weight loss. We have a patch, and weight loss. I mean, how many people have done diets and have tried like different exercise programs and diets, but this is completely different. This is using phototherapy to lose weight, giving your body what it needs, because it's all about balance, Mark. Health is all about balance. And if you're like constantly hungry, that's a good sign that your hormones are out of balance. Okay. Um, or your satiety centers in the brain are out of balance. Okay. So what this does is it naturally reduces your cravings to eat. And so you eat less and lose weight, because that's all weight loss is, you know, it's a matter of not taking in as many, burning more calories than you're taking in, you know. And a lot of people have trouble with that because a lot of people like to eat. And I've been intermittent fasting for over 10 years, and it's worked for me. But like I said, when I put this X39 patch on my body that activates the stem cells, I'm like, going back in time. Like literally my metabolism is increasing and my skin is softer, tighter, younger looking. Scars are going away. I mean, it's anti-aging at its best, all organic,
Mm,
without injections, without, synthetics, healing from within, and it's smart technology. Like I said, when you get a stem cell injection, that's not smart technology. You're injecting embryonic stem cells from somebody else that your body is not
mm-hmm,
going to necessarily accept. It's not going to be
mm-hmm.
successful. But when you use this technology, I mean, so far, 100% success rate. I haven't talked to anybody who's used this technology and hasn't gotten some type of fabulous result. So,
Wow.
that's why you should use it.
Okay. All right. Now, speaking of meetings and introductions, I met you through what's that, Matchmaker FM?
Yeah, yeah.
And I read your bio and it said that you were also a health educator. What does that mean?
So my first love is education. When I was on my mission in Costa Rica at the age of 19, what was I doing? Well, I'll tell you what I was doing. I was teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years. So I did a
Mm,
lot of teaching between the ages of 19 and 21, and I
yeah.
loved it. That's my first love. A matter of fact, when I finished my mission, I got a bachelor's degree in Spanish and went on to teach high school Spanish from 1995 to 2000. So, that love for teaching was also emanated in my work as a chiropractor, because I did a specialty in chiropractic that only 2% of chiropractors do worldwide. And so I had to educate my patients, and I loved doing that. And so I would hold patient orientation classes once a week for an hour in my office as a doctor, where it was mandatory. If you were a new patient and you were starting care with me, you had to go to that class. You had to listen to me
Mm,
for an hour to teach you about where health comes from, how to get it, how to keep it. And that's what I taught, is I taught people about health. So, and also for 17 years, I worked as a spinal screener. So I was out in the community, in all those different places where I practiced in California, Colorado, Ohio, and Utah. I was out at gyms, supermarkets, anywhere where they would allow me to set up a little 2 by 4 foot table and talk to their clientele, their customers coming in and out of the store or wherever it was. I would talk to them about health, you know. And I loved it. I mean, that was my passion. My passion is teaching people, because it's only
mm,
through education that change is executed. I mean, if you don't know what you don't know, how are you gonna achieve what you want? How are you gonna change?
true.
How are you gonna get better? How are
Yeah.
you gonna improve your health? Are you gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? I mean, that's what conventional
Mm,
medicine is doing. Yeah, there's a lot of research going on in different fields, but the fact of the matter is that our bodies are designed to be healthy. And if you give the body what it needs, organic material, okay, sunlight, in this case,
mm-hmm.
elevating certain copper peptides and protein synthesis. And there's a field of science called epigenetics. And what these scientists have realized is that you can't blame your health on genetics anymore, because you can change the expression of your genes, and you can turn certain genes on and off in the body by what you think and what you eat.
Mm,
Okay? Most
mm-hmm.
people know,
Mm-hmm.
most people know that nutrition is very important to their health. Most people know that exercise is very important to their health. But like I said,
Yes.
you know, how many people are consistent in eating healthy and exercising? The beauty of this phototherapy patch is all you got to do is put it on your body and you're done. It couldn't be easier. I mean,
Right.
anybody could do it. You have no excuse for not eating right or exercising when you use this technology. But what it does is it it elevates the expression of your genes at the cellular level, and it heals your body at the cellular level regardless of the cell type. I mean, you've got kidney failure, put this patch on your body and watch your kidneys heal from within naturally. This is the
Mm.
future of healthcare, Mark. I'm telling you right now, in 5 to 10 years, this is going to be a household name. You're finding out about LifeWave right now, but we're we're going places. This is going to change healthcare. This is going to change everything. This technology that was only been introduced since 2019. And what happened in 2020? We went into a pandemic, and everybody's focus was on that pandemic. Okay. But now that the pandemic is over, now people can start focusing on this, and people are looking for things like this. They're not looking for medications or vaccines that they know are harmful and that they know that can kill them, and they know all the side effects. There's no side effects to this at all. It's like I said, I'm 100% organic,
Good.
natural. If you use it as directed, it's the safest and healthiest thing you can do for yourself, period.
I was going to
Hands
ask.
down.
I was going to ask if you were, I was going to ask about side effects, but you just answered the question.
Yeah.
So, if anybody has any questions, please you know present your questions, and I'll present it to Dr. David as we are going along. Hello, Sean. Hello, Lisa. How are you? How are you guys? Wife is listening too. Welcome to you. um, so so let's talk about your current situation though, Dave, because things took a dive, right? And now you are in uh, a not so good scenario right now. Um,
Actually, I look at it as a wonderful scenario, and I'll explain why, Mark. I mean, think about it. When you look at expenses and living expenses these days, what are your two most expensive expenses? They're your housing and your food. I mean, with
yep.
inflation and with the housing market right now, everything is like through the roof expensive. But living here at this shelter, I don't have to worry about either one of those expenses. I mean, imagine how much money I'm saving each month living here. And I can stay here as long as I want, and I'm surrounded by wonderful people that have had a tough time like me, that things haven't really worked out for them either. I mean, I'm meeting, divorced men like me all the time. I'm meeting,
Mm,
people that, are very, very good people. The salt of the earth is what you find at homeless
mm,
shelters. Now, yes, you're going to find some people that have gotten into drugs and stuff like that, but you cannot be at this homeless shelter. You got to be clean. They will not give you a bed here unless you're clean. So I'm living amongst really standout men and loving it, and I'm saving a ton of money, which is exactly what I needed to do at this time in my life because I don't have any income. I've been unemployed for over 2 months now.
mm. So, does that does that have any impact on you mentally?
That's a great question because mental illness is a big problem in the United States. What I attribute
Yes, it is.
my mental prowess to, and my because see, there's four aspects to health, Mark, and we have to always strive to be healthy in these four areas. And we mainly focus on the physical, but most people don't realize how interconnected your mind, spirit, and body are. And when you look at the holistic approach to health, that's what it's about. It's mind, body, and spirit. Okay. So at when it comes to my mind, I have to attribute it to my knowledge of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the plan of salvation, the love that my Savior has for me and my Father in heaven. And that comes back to my roots. I mean, I was raised, like I said, in a very religious family by very good parents. And
Mhm.
that created the mental well-being in my life because I know, Mark, where I came from, why I'm here on this earth, and where I have the opportunity to go when I'm dead. And those are the three most basic questions of life that people ask. Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? I have the answer to those
Going.
three questions. And that just creates a mental, just like a mental well-being that most people don't see. We can alter our minds with drugs, and we all have our coping mechanisms. You see it in our
Sure.
society.
Sure.
Some people smoke, some
Yeah.
people drink, some people smoke marijuana, some people take drugs, heroin, cocaine,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Those
Yeah.
are all coping mechanisms for
Sure. Sure.
understanding life. I don't have any of those vices. I've never been an alcoholic. I don't smoke. I've never used illicit drugs. Why? Because I know the answer to those three questions, and it's simplistic. If you love God, you're going to obey his commandments. And if you know what his commandments are, one of his commandments is he wants, there's a scripture that says, you know, your body is a temple to God. Don't desecrate the temple. Okay.
Mm.
That has
Mm.
to come back to our health. I mean, if you're destroying your body with drugs and alcohol and all these things that are harmful to your body, you're desecrating your temple. One of the greatest gifts that God gave us was this body. Okay. And
Mm.
how did I
Mhm.
learn that? I learned that through the scriptures. I learned that through my own studies, and I've accelerated it. And so when it comes to mental wellness, I mean, I'm at peace. Most people will look at my situation and feel sorry for me, or, oh, that's horrible. No, I've never been happier because
Yeah.
I've accepted the will of the Lord. All these things are, you could look at it and say, that's not very just. I mean, you educated yourself, you got the highest degree of education, a doctorate degree that you can get, yet you've never made more than $40,000 in a year. But yet you had all these children. Why did I do that? Because the first commandment to Adam and Eve was multiply and replenish the earth. That was the first commandment that God ever gave to his children, Adam and Eve. And I obeyed that
Mm.
commandment. I married, which is also a commandment. We're supposed to have families. That's what God wants. He wants marriage is very important to God. Following that law of marriage, I did that. I had children. I've obeyed his commandments, and that's what's brought me mental wellness in my life, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness. And like I say, the
Yeah.
physical I figured out as a chiropractor. I mean, I studied the body, how it functions, and I provided the highest quality of service to allow the body to function at its optimum for 17 years. And now I'm doing it with LifeWave in a way that I never thought I would. But, if you accept the will of God in your life, you're gonna go different places that you didn't think you would go.
Yeah.
And that's really what's
Yeah.
happened to me. I never thought I'd be in a homeless shelter, but it's turned out to be one of the greatest blessings that I've had in the last 8 months living here in Seattle. I mean, I was very happy in Costa Rica, but I was far away from my kids. And right now, and you have to have purpose in life. You got to have a reason for getting up in the morning. If you don't have that, then what happens is you slip into depression and anxiety. And depression and anxiety are huge problems in society today because people um aren't connected with God. They don't know where they come from, why the purpose of this life, and where they have the opportunity to go, and they don't have a purpose for that day. They don't have a goal. Okay, my goal right now is to get to Utah. Why? Well, I haven't seen my children for over 3 years. I miss them.
Yeah.
I miss them
Yeah. I was
terribly.
gonna. I
you
was going to
know?
ask David if you've seen your kids at any time, and have they reached out to you? Did you reach out to them? I mean,
Oh yeah, no, I'm in
what?
communication with them, but it's not enough. See, my love language is quality time defined by communication, and I'm not getting that enough from any of my family. My parents, my siblings, my ex-wife, my kids, nothing. But so I realized, though I know that the Lord wants me in Utah because he knows that that's going to bring me joy because he knows that that's what my kids need in order to have they'll spend more time with me, they'll talk with me more if I'm closer to them because I've been trying to have a relationship with my children since my divorce far away from them. I was in Utah, that's where we got divorced. And because my ex-wife would not let our two youngest daughters live with me there in Utah, it drove me out of Utah. And it drove me to California. I tried to maintain a relationship with them there. The Lord guided me to Costa Rica. I tried to have a relationship with there, but I was in another country. So it was difficult to even communicate with, my own family because not all my family is on social media. My parents are old school, they don't even know how to use their own cell phones, let alone be on like Facebook or Instagram or any of these platforms where you can WhatsApp. WhatsApp was the main
Right.
communication app in Costa Rica. That's what everybody in Costa Rica uses to communicate with their families and everybody else because you don't have to have like a cell phone plan. You just need to have internet and that app on your phone. You don't have to pay for like a plan, like a cell
Really?
phone plan, right? And so
Right.
at this point, I know that by me getting to Utah. So that's my purpose. That's my goal right now. And that's what I work on. I have certain friends in Utah that know my situation and they're working to help me, have a place to stay while I get back on my feet. I'm helping a friend develop his startup business. And as you know, startups are hard. Most startups fail, but this guy has
Yeah.
been a
Yeah.
really he's been really good to me here in Seattle. And he's got a good heart. He's not like the smartest person I've ever met. He's a retired chiropractor like me. And he's not the smartest guy, but I mean he's got a good heart and him and his family have helped me a lot. He helped me get into this homeless shelter, and stuff like that. And he's practiced in this area for years, but he's been retired for 6 years and he's doing the startup. I'm his vice president of sales. So you know what I did last week? I translated his posture reset program into Spanish, right? Because that was my first degree was Spanish, and he paid me for that, and I'm helping him market, I'm gonna help him basically take it into Utah because we want to take the posture reset program nationally, not just here in the state of Washington. So I'm going to be his go-to guy in Utah when I get there. But like I said, it's not generating a lot of income because, it's sales, it's commission, and anybody who's done
Right.
a sales commission job knows that, you can't count on stable money coming in the beginning, and I
Yeah.
just started working with
Yeah.
him about the same time that I found LifeWave, and LifeWave is 100% commission as well. And I've made money from LifeWave, but it's going to take time to get it to the point where it can be like, cover my bills type of thing. It's just it
Yeah.
takes time to develop businesses like that.
Sure.
And so that's
Sure.
what I'm working on right now is getting to Utah and becoming self-reliant. And then once I have, because I don't have a lot of expenses, I got rid of my car when I moved to Costa Rica, so I don't have a car payment, I don't have car insurance, I don't have to pay for gas. Here in Seattle, I've used the bus, but now I walk everywhere, and that's another thing that's great for your health because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
walk. Everybody
Yeah.
knows how important walking is, and aerobic
There is.
exercise or health. So it's all been a blessing to me. And the Lord knows what's most important to me. He's first, my health is second, and my children are third. and I'm doing his will where he wants me to do it, and I'm following, his guidance. And he's let me know, Mark, that really I need to be an entrepreneur. I can't really work for an organization or a company, and have a salary. And, it's just, I wasn't meant to do that. I wasn't, that's not me. He knows that. He knows my talents. He knows the gifts that he's given to me, and he knows that I'm going to develop those and work and always try to help people. And, someday I'm going to be at a point where, I'll be financially independent, but it's going to take time. And I've been working on it
Yeah,
for a long time, but,
yeah, you are.
it's
You are.
patience. Patience is a virtue.
Indeed. Dave, let me just talk about a few things that you mentioned. Um,
Yeah, you bet.
and I think it's important that you brought those things up. You spoke about taking care of yourself. I think many of us, David, we fail to understand that in order for us to take care of other people, we have to first take care of ourselves. How can we be productive if we can't be productive for ourselves first? We have to do for self first. I mean, and I'm saying
100%.
yes, sometimes you have to be selfish. And I'm saying it in a good way because you have to do things to that promote happiness and health for you, right? You can't be in pain trying to take care of somebody else. It's just
Exactly.
not going to work. You're not going to give them the best version of yourself
That's correct.
if you're in pain,
That's
right?
correct.
You got to take care of
That
you
is
first, then
absolutely
you take care
correct.
of everybody else.
And
And the
my
second thing that
best
you
friend, yeah, my best friend is a caregiver. And she's joined me in LifeWave, and she is super excited. She just started using this technology on her body this month, May. So it's been less than a month, and she's already seeing phenomenal results. Her health is getting better. But I've had
mm,
this conversation with her. I mean, there's a fine line in life, and life is all about balance. Yes, you need to take care of yourself, but if you're taking care of everybody else more than you're taking care of yourself, you're out of balance. And that's gonna lead to things falling apart in your life. I mean, balance is everything. And you said it, and it's not about being selfish. It's about being able to give more. The more you have, the more you can give. But if you don't have any gas in the tank because, you don't have any energy, or you're in pain, or you're worried about yourself,
yeah,
you're right. You can't
yeah,
help other people. And
yeah.
she's realizing this and she's older than I am. She's like 6 years older than I am, this woman, and she's my best friend. And I mean, what you said is so important, and a lot of people have trouble with it. I mean, I recently met another woman on LinkedIn, that and we've had this conversation as well, and she's like, Dave, you hit it on the nail. You're exactly right. I am that way. I'm too much of a giver. I have to have more balance in my life. And yeah, I'm like, well, like that's so I'm a health educator. Like you said, that's what I am at my core, is helping people realize that it's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. You have to have balance in each one of those in your lives. And if you do, you're just going to be healthier and happier than you could possibly imagine.
But people also have to understand, David, and this is from a spiritual point of view. We lost sight of God. We lost sight of how powerful He is. We're leaning more towards everybody else. We're leaning more towards our own thoughts. We're leaning more towards other people and not Him. We have to turn the car around and go back up the hill and go to Him, right? Because I think our society as a whole is falling down the tubes real fast, and nobody seems to really care. Nobody seems to notice, but we're falling into a hell basket, brother. And
Well,
we need
and
to,
we shouldn't be surprised because it's all prophesied in the scriptures. It's all
it is,
prophesied,
it is, it is.
and so, but you're
But the thing is,
absolutely
people,
right.
yeah. But the thing is, you know, and I will attribute this to your struggles. Uh, Even in hard times, David, we have to lean on him. That's when we need to lean on him the most. And to hear you talk, and you come across so calm, right? But talkative, but calm. And it's like this brother is really at peace with himself. I don't
Well,
get the I don't get the let's go get this thing taken care of right now type of attitude from you. And you
no,
know, when you have that anchor, when you have that foundation, in you, it shows. It shows, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
say that to say that I see what he's doing. I see it. And I'm just telling you, just stay the course, brother David. Just stay the course.
Oh, trust me, man. I'm I'm never leaving the course. I'm one of the converted ones. I'm one of the ones that, and it's sad. I've seen my family, not stay the course. And but me, I've just learned that, that's the way to live your life and to never deviate from that. And peace is found in our Savior Jesus Christ and in his atonement. And he overcame physical and spiritual death for us. The physical death is a free gift. We are all going to resurrect, Mark. I don't care if
Indeed.
you accepted Christ or not, that's a free gift. We are all going to
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
again, you know, because he gave that free gift to us when he resurrected. Now, a lot of people don't believe that, but see, that's part of his plan. That's part of the purpose of this life. We came to this life to gain a body, to learn, and decide which team we're going to be on. Are we going to be on the Satan's team, or are we going to be on God's team? We know who wins in the end. If you read Revelations, you know who wins in the end. It's God. Satan loses in
Mhm.
the end, but you're right. Right now, people are not turning to God. They're on the other team, right? But they need to come over to God's team because that's going to be the winning team, and it's going to end pretty soon. We're in the 11th hour, the last hour, before Christ comes again, and I want to be prepared, and I want to prepare people for it because there's going to be a lot of surprised people because, like you said, we're lovers of ourselves. We're selfish. We go after money and material
Mm.
things and lust, and that's the world we live in. But and we have our free agency to do that, that's one of the greatest gifts that God gave us, is that he gave us the opportunity to choose. What he gave us freedom, and freedom of choice, right? But there's still laws. His commandments are the laws. And if you obey them, then you will receive the reward at the end, which is eternal life with him. But if you don't, you won't. And this life is just a millisecond compared to eternity. I mean,
Yes, it
it's
is.
a very, very short period of time. But I'm looking at the eternal perspective of things, and that's why I live my life the way that I do. That's why I'm at peace. Okay, because I've said to God, "You're going to be my pilot. You're going to guide me." And that's why I'm at peace. Mark, is because I'm not going after what I want. I'm doing what He wants me to do,
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
and he's taking care of me. Like, and this homeless shelter is a perfect example. My shelter and my food is taken care of. The other only basic need is transportation, but I have everything here close. Like, I go work out at a park. It's a 10-minute walk from here. I don't have a gym membership because I can't afford one, but it doesn't matter because I'm working out there 6 days a week, for free, you know? And I have sufficient for my needs, and that's really all that you need. You know, when people start making money and they start acquiring possessions, they get greedy and they want more and more, but you don't need all that stuff. You can be happy with nothing. I'm
Mhm.
probably one of the happiest people on the planet right now, and I have nothing except for the clothes on my back. I'm completely reliant on God, and He's taking care of me.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. So before we end, just one question. Do you have any other things going on with you?
No, I mean, like we started before we started to record, I like to keep busy doing productive things. And what I found is that the Lord puts people in my path that He wants me to help. And that's what's happened here. That's why I've been here these last 3 weeks. I've already helped several of my bedmates, if you call them. I mean, we sleep in bunk beds on the top floor. There's 100 beds here. We don't have individual rooms, so we sleep in the same big room. But I mean, it brings joy to me to help other people. The Lord knows this. He knows what brings me happiness. He knows why I became a doctor, why going through things like this would bring me peace and bring me happiness. And I'm just, you know, I receive revelation from him. Like he puts in my mind what I should do and what I should say. And I'm doing it. And if you've talked to anybody who's doing their passion, they're happy regardless of the material things they have. As long as they have a roof over their head and food to eat, those are the two basic things. I mean, with that, anybody can survive with the roof over their head and food to eat. What it's about is living life, living your passion, and that's what I'm doing. And I have a lot to give because I've learned a lot, and I've prepared myself for this through the experiences and the education and the all the things that I've done. Preparing myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to really guide people and help people understand, why we're here, where we came from, and where we have the opportunity to go. And like I said earlier, when you have purpose in your life and you know the answer to those three questions, you're on a different level. I mean, you don't get depressed, you don't get anxious, you don't have these mental disorders that so many people are dealing with these days, because you have that hope.
Hmm. Good, good. So we got your email addresses. So if anybody is interested in reaching out to you, I already put one out. So go. Can you tell us again your email addresses just in case?
Yeah. So, Dr. Dave at God Health and Relationships.com. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's long, but the reason I chose that name for my website is because those are the three most important aspects in my life. God is first,
Yeah,
health is second,
yeah,
and my
yeah.
relationships with my children is third. And those are the big three, like the Trinity: God the Father, Jesus Christ, Holy Ghost. For me, in my life and my happiness is God, health, and my relationships with my children first. My family, I mean, adults, it's different with adults, because we tend to get a lot of baggage through our lives, and we're all going through different emotional traumas. Adults
Sure.
usually have more emotional trauma than children. But I mean, they're my offspring. I mean, I love them unconditionally, just like God loves us unconditionally. I love my children unconditionally, and that's just, I love my family as well, but I just don't have, it's harder to have a relationship with them than with my children. So,
Sure, sure. I understand. Dr. David Yates, it has been a pleasure to have this conversation with you, my brother. Keep in touch with me and let me know how things are going, man. I mean, hey, I'm always an email away or whatever you want to call it, man. But I'm around for you, man. And, if you want to talk, hey, I'm here.
Likewise, man.
So
I'm here. Like I said, if you want to email me, you want my number, you want my cell phone number, whatever. I'm all about
yeah.
communication. That's my language of love. I feel loved when I'm doing things like this, when I'm communicating. That's why I was so excited to be on your podcast, and I was on the Stacy Chalemi podcast last week. And I'm going to be
Mhm.
scheduling other podcasts. Eventually, I'll start my own podcast because I love to talk about the things that are most important in this life, which for me is God, health, and relationships.
Mhm. Amen, brother. Amen. So Dr. David Yates, you have yourself a good rest of your day, sir. And thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. I look forward to talking with you guys next week. And Dr. Yates, thank you so much, sir.
You bet. My pleasure. Have
God
a
bless you,
great
brother.
evening.